A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerds Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Justin Kimmett, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Johnny.
Hey.
Ed.
Hi.
Shirley.
Hello.
And, of course, me, because I'm already still here. I got this, guys. I'm solid. I'm super solid. Real quick, we're going to take a second to talk about our other podcasts. We have 3 other podcasts. The Nerds Domain Podcast, Go Fund This, and There Are 4 Lights. We highly suggest you check those out. Go over to nerdsdom.com to check those out. We also like to mention, I know that we put up a couple episodes about it already, but we wanted to mention that we do still have a GoFundMe out. I'm really good at talking.
Out there?
Yeah. We have a GoFundMe out there to help us replace some of our equipment. We are currently a few mics down and a nice big board down, and there are a couple other things that we could really use. Headphone splitters, headphones, those things. So we've raised about $800, well, just a little over $800 of the $1,800 we were looking for, which is fantastic. But, we could always use some more help, so if you have a chance to go there, that'd be great. That's gofundme.com/burgled-recording-equipment, and you can check that out there. Otherwise, we're going to get back to the story. We finished up with Ed and his character, Tony. I have it written down.
Good call.
Tony just got done looking into some owner records and found some criminal reports that hadn't really gone anywhere. And talked to a buddy of his about getting some help from someone that they might know. And he has a homeless person who's going to kind of act as his, his gateway into the homeless community to help him out.
It's my connection.
Yeah, your connection. That's a good call. Now we're going to jump over to Lowell. What was the nickname you were going by?
Lou.
Yeah. Lou and Lorraine, and talk to them about what they were doing.
So what I was going to do was I was going to take the plucky young white reporter that's female, by the way, and we're going to go over to a neighborhood spot where a lot of the ne'er-do-well Negroes shoot dice, or craps, as it may.
Remind me, because this is the 1930s, so that's everywhere.
Yeah, that's everywhere. So I mean, we're in Harlem, so we're gonna go deeper in Harlem.
Okay.
So I would take her to her shake house, and I would give her the 411, like, hey, like, you're gonna stand behind me and you're gonna ask these questions, and then they may try to talk slick or this, that, and other, and ultimately we prep her that, like, we may have to. Depending on how rowdy this particular spot that we go to is, we might have to kind of fight our way out a tad bit, so that it could be kind of rough, so that she needs to stay on her toes as possible, but that I will allow her to facilitate asking the questions, and I can kind of.
Are you taking anything with you? Of note.
I'm going to take some chewing gum. Let's start there.
Okay.
We're going to start with some Big Red. I always got to have a product placement in the world of Cthulhu. I would probably not, and here's why, because that was back during a time when, even though if someone pulled a pistol or a knife, they were a punk, essentially. Okay. So it's a matter of, like.
So if you're going to get into a fight with them, you're going to use your fist.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't take her to a clap house where there was like an enforcer or a bouncer or sort. Okay. This is a free for all, so like it's a bunch. it's a bunch of brothers basically getting together to shoot dice. It might get heated.
Okay.
Some people may be drinking. So like if we need a weapon, there's going to be a bottle in hand or something that can be smashed over someone's head or something, but it's pretty much a melee hand-to-hand combat situation.
Okay. So you guys go to a local, you said clap house, is that the phrase you were using?
Yeah, it's because trap house and clap house are okay. So look, I'll give you some historical context, as I guess apparently I'm the educated one here. So a trap house.
Did he just call us all stupid?
No,
I think he just called us all
just you,
No.
just you.
Well,
Pumpkin.
he
How
is
about
looking
that?
in your direction.
Because you did all this
so
research.
fair.
Remember last time? Remember your last game that you did the research on?
I just FYI, I did a lot of research on African American baseball teams and barnstorming. I did
yeah.
way too much.
Oh yeah. So didn't think to look at other aspects of our life. We are
Look.
not one dimensional, Matt.
Look,
Why are you such a racist, Matt?
That's a good question. I'm going to answer that in 3 parts. Part 1. Indianapolis used to have a baseball team called the Clowns. It was an African-American team.
Yes,
We
And-
did.
Yes, they
And
did.
Low
while,
key.
while 2 of you may not be aware of it, I'm terrified of clowns.
Yes.
So that is the most terrifying black people that I can ever think of.
So like black juggalos.
Oh, good God.
That creeps me
Although
out. I'm not afraid.
I will
of
say I'm
Right?
not
No
scared of
shade.
Homie. Well, I am a little scared of Homie D Clown, but not because he's a clown, but because
he may
would-
jack you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Because homie don't play that.
He
Homie, don't play that.
He doesn't. But no. But for
I had 3 parts, sir.
oh,
I
I'm
had-
sorry. Oh, I thought you. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. We're on part 2
Let's
now.
not forget this is his show.
That's right. We're on
I don't
part
remember
2.
what my other parts were.
Okay,
Go ahead.
fair enough. So, trap houses are basically drug dens. That's what they
Oh,
are.
okay.
And then clap houses tend to be money laundering or money exchange of some sort. So, i.e., like bookies, things like that. Usually, they're shooting dice in the clap houses. So there's a distinct difference. So you do have some that kind of conflate and intermingle, but for the most part, they're very much separate.
What's the drug of the time?
It would be heroin.
Okay.
Heroin was very popular among African Americans during that time.
But it'd also be a lot of alcohol since it's all prohibition right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be alcohol and heroin would be the 2 things.
What about marijuana? Because I thought marijuana was pretty big among jazz musicians and part of the.
It
the
was
whole Anslinger thing
hep
had come out
cats.
about this time, right?
Yeah.
The hep cats.
Yeah, it was big, but it was mostly heroin. Like heroin is the big.
No kidding.
Yeah, heroin is the big. Yeah.
Didn't realize that would have been like the drug of choice.
Yeah, because it was cheaper. It was cheaper to get, and so. Yeah.
Those were the days, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And now it's all meth.
And
Yeah,
now it's
pretty
all
much.
meth because you can make it from stuff you buy at the drugstore.
Right.
Not anymore. You can't buy it at the drugstore without 6 pieces of identification.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I had a cold and they was looking at me crazy. I was like, listen, am I white? Like, okay, like, no shade. Like, I mean, this is Franklin, Indiana. I mean, am I white? Like, I would get it, but like,
I'm
all
like,
right.
I'm 350 pounds. Do I look like I smoke meth?
Right.
You know?
You'd be surprised.
I,
though.
look, I got all my teeth.
There's a lot of meth heads now that low key have all their teeth now. Cause
No
well, with Obamacare, dental plans were available. Like,
Oh,
listen,
Thanks, Obama.
just saying, listen. You could be a meth head and still be healthy. Come on with it.
You
Come on,
just
bring it.
introduced a new political conspiracy theory. Thanks, Johnny.
It's
No,
not
forget that.
fact.
I think this
Obama
is some good marketing.
introduced
You could be a meth
the
head and keep all your
Obamacare
teeth
so that
on the new meth plan.
druggies can like keep doing drugs but still look normal.
Are we getting off topic?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Because I'm going to continue. So I buy that very mic today
Yeah.
with that cord and another cord at Sam Ash. The guy has a fidget spinner that he's just spinning while he's doing his job. He's whatever. Doesn't bother me.
Right.
And I laugh because I saw on Facebook this picture of the fidget spinner up with the
Triangle and circle in
right. Yeah, well, but so with clearly satanic symbol of a goat next to it, and then the fidget spinner pointing down, and it was a pentagram, and it was like it put in some numbers, and it was like 666, and this is all bringing the Satan into your home. And I laughed because this is the same
Because
kind
it's
of
ridiculous.
yeah, ridiculous crap. So I laughed while I'm looking at this fidget spinner this guy has. And he was like, and he looks at me, and I explained very briefly, much briefer than this. And he's like, "Oh, well, you got to be careful with that, because the Illuminati, they're serious." I was like, oh my God, what if I just entered here? And he just kept going. Like, it wasn't very long. It might have been in a minute.
But he was serious.
But he was like, well, the Illuminati, they started off as the illuminated ones. And, it's because, like, people like Jefferson and Washington, they had all this information. And they didn't want to disseminate it. And now, and, like, my uncle is a Freemason. He tells me that when you go up in rank, you get all. I'm like, oh, my God. What conspiracy hole have I just dove down because of this one?
That's why you don't laugh at guys
little
with fidget
thing?
spinners.
Yeah. Also, earlier last week, I went down the Romans created the Christians to keep the populace down. They didn't actually exist. Jesus Christ was never around. And I went, but what?
That's plausible.
And I looked into the research,
you're not wrong.
and there were several atheists that were like, "This is an interesting theory, but it's kind of bonkers." And I'm like, "Oh well, if the atheists are calling it crazy, that says something."
It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Sketch.
So, anyway, conspiracy theories.
Wait, how did we get here?
I know.
What train did we get on?
Clap House and Trap House is the difference. And then
Yeah.
we just, it's like Wikipedia, just keep on
Something,
saying.
And then it turned into
something,
heroin, and then it
meth,
turned into meth, and it turned into things
Obamacare.
Yeah.
You brought up the conspiracy theories, illuminated ones, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Back to
Clubhouse,
the game.
Trap House.
Yeah.
So
Let's
you're
do
on
this.
your way to a clap.
Yeah, but basically I would, let her know it's kind of rough, it's kind of sketch,
Okay.
just
Okay.
kind of be aware, keep her eyes open, answer her questions. Like,
Okay.
they're going to come at her sideways, and, like, that's why I'm the buffer to, like,
Okay.
check them.
Yeah. All right. So you guys find yourself at a somewhat popular destination. It's mid-morning, so it's not full,
killed a
but
fairy.
it ain't empty.
Right.
So,
He just killed a fairy.
you're still talking, and I can pick you up on that
I
mic.
know.
Okay. So it's not super full, but it's got some people in it.
Right.
And when you enter, there is definitely a "what's she doing here" vibe.
Right.
Like people stop like
Yeah.
mid
Yeah.
roll and
Mid
like
shake.
yeah, the record scratches itself.
Right.
Yeah, they notice you and everybody kind of goes back to what they're doing, but everybody's kind of still watching.
Yeah.
So, tell me how you were approaching people.
So,
Well, that's interesting. Concept.
well, hold on. Like, hold on. Like, calm down. You need to calm down. Okay. So what I would do, is, I would figure that probably, I've spent some time in these places, so
Sure.
I would probably make my way over to whoever the game master would be. So whoever's running it, we gonna call him little Jimmy.
Okay.
Little Jimmy 5.
Okay.
Because he only got 5 fingers left. We don't ask. Yeah, Jimmy 5.
Yeah. It's legit. I believe
Yeah,
this.
actually, because I know a dude named Jimmy 5 who only has 5 fingers, and like he was a hustler, like low key.
Oh, dude.
Rest his soul, but he was a hustler.
Oh, goodness.
And I can actually
My
talk about him.
dear.
I can actually talk about him for once on a legitimate show.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah. So we roll over to Jimmy 5, and I would have also prepped Lorraine that the conversations that I have with these gentlemen and perhaps some ladies in there, I would be using vernacular that she's not kind of aware of. So
You'd
like,
be using a little jive talk.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it is clearly not
right.
known well.
So I'm gonna roll up to Jimmy and be like,
It's okay. He speaks jive.
yeah, and right, exactly.
Yeah.
And-
There aren't any jive programs at the local
Yeah,
community
no,
college.
there isn't, and there's no Rosetta Stone. Oh, thanks for adjusting my mic.
Do you want to speak jive? Sure, we all do.
I can hook you up with that. Jive on phonics work for me. All right. So I would go in and basically kind of roll up on Jimmy. I'm sure he's trying to shoot some dice.
Right.
And it's kind of that thing you see in would see in a movie
Right.
almost. So I caught a tip on the wind that old lady Johnson is hanging out with a fella. You happen to know something about it?
Maybe. What do you want to know about?
Well, how much does it cost for an ear hustle?
I'm sorry. What is an ear hustle?
So ear hustling means you're overhearing a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically hustling in on a conversation by eavesdropping. Or in this sense, it's that he has some information that I want him to disseminate to me.
I assumed that's what he like. The context led me
Okay,
there.
now I don't
Keep up with
understand.
the context,
Now
Ed.
I don't understand words like disseminate.
Here we
that
go.
sounds dirty. No.
I've used the Ivy League white
Whoa,
man's
whoa, whoa.
words,
Yeah, that's
and
a white
you
people
can-
word. That's a white people
disseminate?
word.
Really?
You know what?
That's fine.
Just because I look white doesn't mean I'm Ivy League. Okay, let's just clear that up.
Whoa.
Also,
I went
We
to
just
Butler.
went there.
oh, so you're
Ooh.
opaque. So all right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm closer to translucent.
All right.
Honestly, I get a sunburn if I get a bright idea. Anyway, please go on.
No.
I did notice that your skin's getting a little. Do I need to turn the lights down?
If you could dim those 40 watts up there, I would really appreciate
Dim
it.
it down to 20, baby. All right. Tanning bed.
Scare me.
Mr. Washington wouldn't be wouldn't be an unpleasant sight. That's a dollar bill, right?
Right.
Lincoln's on the 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They messed that up because Lincoln's on the penny, but he's on the 5. That like you need to
It should be 1 and 1.
right. Okay.
Right. You know what? I will palm him a 5 because I want all the dirt.
Well, so the baby passed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a couple weeks after that. Mr. Michaels kind of started taking care of her. It's been going on every couple of days since. It's been 6 months now. So I mean, it's pretty serious. Mr. Johnson knows, but has taken some work out of town so that he can really figure out what he wants to do about it.
So I know Fitz said that he picked up some work a while back. You know if he's working for Michaels?
He did. I mean, Fitz has worked a couple of times for Michaels, but not on a regular basis. Michaels throws works to whoever's around. You just whoever's available that day and whoever gets in line first. I don't know. I know you're probably not aware of how all that rough stuff goes, but it can get kind of ugly on who gets picked. Because a dollar's a dollar, and people need to eat. And he's speaking in the appropriate slang.
Right. I'm gonna throw $2 on the table, pick up some dice, shake them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
have you blow on them, and then I'm gonna throw.
Okay. Roll me luck.
Sure. Hold on, y'all.
Please let the white girl.
The
be
luck is
looking.
gonna be
Please
all the
let
way up
white
here
girl
at the
be-
top, right?
Please let the white girl be looking.
Right. You better be hot. You better be hot white lightning, because otherwise
I'm so terrified right now.
I'm gonna have them string you out.
Ot 5. Please let it be Ot 5.
That's a 35.
What's your luck?
That's pretty good. That's solid.
Okay. So my luck is at an 8.
Yeah, he's got good
Yes.
luck. So you roll. I don't play craps, but I think a 7's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you roll whatever's
7s
supposed to
and
be
11s.
Yeah.
rolled. You win a couple bucks back. You gonna keep rolling?
Yeah, because basically it's just me kind of playing just to keep the conversation going, so
Okay.
other people around aren't being sketch and trying to ear hustle in our conversation, basically.
Right, which they're gonna do anyway. But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap the table with the money, so
Okay.
they know that I'm about to play all or nothing, pick it up, and just roll again.
Okay.
And
You
that's-
don't need to worry about
Okay,
rolling.
cool.
We just you roll a few times, not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then while I'm constantly rolling back and forth, I'm gonna allow Lorraine to ask some questions and just kind of
Okay.
interject. He say something smart, be like, "Hey, watch it," whatever.
Yeah.
So
Basically, what Lorraine would do would be.
Are you taking copious amounts of notes about this place you've probably never been and probably will never come back to?
She is writing down everything.
Hey.
She's just writing away.
The life
And
of a
then-
Negro clap house.
right.
And
By Lorraine Russell. She's gonna win a Pulitzer. She's gonna be a star.
I'm gonna try. And then when she gets to the point where somebody tries to coerce her or tries to do something that's inappropriate for the time, she would allude to her ability at fisticuffs in a joking manner. just to kind of try to
Okay.
fit
That's
in.
right.
So so Lou has kind of left an opening for you to ask questions of Jimmy 5.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Instead of Johnny 5, who's a robot.
Yeah, right.
'Kay.
Not Johnny 5 is alive. No, Jimmy 5. And Jimmy 5 is dead, y'all. Just so we know. So we're clear.
So, Mr. Jimmy,
That's Jimmy 5, baby.
That was a good little hustler voice.
Wasn't bad.
Yes.
Wasn't bad. I'm impressed.
Mr. 5.
What's your appearance? What's your appearance?
My appearance
Yeah.
is a 13.
Oh, sweetie, you can call me Jimmy 5. You don't, Mister. That's my dad.
Whoa, talk about
All right, let's not be too slick
blushing
there.
and now we're trying to find a friend of yours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to help you
Fritz.
find.
Fritz.
Yeah.
So, you said that he was working for Michael's?
Yeah, a while ago. He occasionally takes. I mean, honestly, I'd take a job occasionally if I needed to from whoever had it. But Michael's occasionally had something.
Do you know what his recent work was?
No, not really. We're so far from the park up here. I don't see.
How often
Al.
did he frequent? How often did he come in?
When he came up here to eat dinner with Mr. Bell, he'd slide on over occasionally, once a week maybe.
Did you ever hear any conversations with him that may have talking of maybe some strange things happening or strange things that Fritz might have seen?
No, I mean, it's hard work what he was doing. He complained about how sore and tired he was, but other than that, as long as he was making a little money, he seemed to be pretty all right.
Mm. And how about his treatment at the work site?
He's treated as he kind of looks over at Mr. Bell, at Lou, and then look back at Miss Russell. He's treated as well as any other Negro is, which is to say, like a slave. And you've not heard Jimmy 5 get serious like that unless somebody's stealing something. Like, he doesn't get that bass in his tone typically.
And that was at Michael's work sites.
Michael's was not that bad. He treated his Negro workers pretty well, but you work for a white man, you expect to be treated like property. But sometimes you got to deal with that. Just bring home some money. I mean, it's not like we're in the South when they ain't stringing us up. So there's that.
She kind of is at a loss for words and blushes really deeply. There's a definite notice of shame on her face. So not very many people from the was it Hallville?
Hooverville.
Hooverville.
Yes.
Sorry.
Wow.
That was horrible.
Hallville is in Indianapolis, Indiana, for all of our listeners.
No, not a lot of the.
Hooverville, come up here to visit.
No, it's expensive. It's a long walk. We're talking half a day sometimes, depending on how far up they're coming. It's not an easy like in and out kind of deal, and nobody's got money for the subway anymore.
Did Miss Johnson ever come in?
In here?
Mm-hmm.
No. Her husband's come in a couple of times, but we usually throw him out before he gets too drunk.
Is he usually indulge
Yeah, a lot.
often? How often did he come in? You said he's been out of town, right?
2-3 times a week normally. I mean, I'd drink that much if I knew my wife was getting it from another man.
Blushing. Has Mr. Michaels come in?
He would not favor this kind of establishment. I'm sure that he has much more fancy places to do his kind of gambling.
In other words, my dear, waffle-colored Negroes don't step foot in establishments like this.
Okay, Matt has no idea what a waffle color
So
Negro
do you
is.
know what a waffle looks like?
Yeah. So basically, that is a term
It's
denoting
caramel.
that someone is high yellow or
Oh,
that
okay.
they're light skinned.
Okay.
Usually, it's used as a
Derogatory term.
yeah,
towards-
because
okay.
there's colorism and they probably have green eyes. Also, I've had that thrown at me a few times back in my heyday.
Good to
'Cause
know.
I'm a little light and got green eyes, but I'm pretty. Just so y'all know, y'all can't see this mug, but they can vouch. I'm beautiful. Damn it.
He is beautiful.
You are.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Especially after I have my surgeries done, it's gonna be real snatched up, ready.
So,
But
yeah, he would. I'm sure if he gambles, it's probably cards. It's probably south of here, a little closer to West Park. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else to ask. I just don't feel like we've gotten anywhere.
Whenever Fitz stepped in the last couple times you've seen him, has he or even Johnson been acting strange when they came through?
I mean, Johnson's been drinking since the baby, but that's been, like I said, been a while. Fitz seemed a little more nervous, like he was going to lose the money he had. But, I mean, if you don't want to lose, you ain't going to come in here. Like, if you ain't got money to lose, you shouldn't be in here to begin with. We all know that. Now, that doesn't keep us out, but
True.
you know what I mean.
All right, my friend. Thanks for your time. So then I will, I'll tap out whatever money I got, and then I will throw something back on the table.
Okay.
And just keep it moving. Just kinda
Whatever's
hustle
appropriate.
her on out.
Right.
It's time to dip out because I'm sure people have been looking for a minute. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys head out. It's not quite one, but if you guys have anywhere else you want to go, that'd be great. If you don't, we can fast forward to lunch.
I think I'm going to. Is there anything you want to do necessarily? Is there any
Well-
is there any questions or like anything that like in our conversation, walking and talking, that would lead that you would ask that could
Yeah.
prompt me to suggest? Because it's either going to be go run through the shanty town again and see if maybe just maybe somebody will say something about throw a few dollars their way or offer them some work or something, or
How far away is the shanty?
or
town?
roll into
It's so Harlem is northwest side of Manhattan. Central Park is huge, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like smack dab in the middle. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be south of here, and then way south is like the city center, where like the
Well,
courthouse and stuff
Central
are.
Park starts at 59th or 60th Street and extends up to about 91st. Yeah, so
pretty good list.
so you're about. I've actually, interestingly enough, I've actually walked that distance before. I started at Midtown and walked up to my friend's place at, I kid you not, the corner of Seaman and Cumming. I'm not
No.
making that
I
up.
live for it.
His street
for it.
corner was Seaman and Cumming in Washington Heights, New York. It's not Washington Heights.
Bet
Actually,
it's
the
really
next
popular
neighborhood
during
north of
Fleet Week.
Washington
All
Heights.
right.
Yeah.
So so Harlem is here. This is great for our listeners. Central Park is
We're
there.
looking at a Google map.
there,
Yeah, we're looking at
there,
Google Maps.
and then the city center, I believe, is right by Madison Square Gardens. That general area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the bottom of Midtown.
our
there.
conversation would lead toward, for some reason, Lorraine has this sixth sense about, or this intuition about Michael's, and feels like I just need to find out where his properties are, where he's working, where he hangs out at. Maybe I could
Then I would suggest that
visit those establishments.
that we go. I would suggest Lou would suggest that we would go to the trap house because the junkie's going to keep up with the money, and so if you find the junkie that like is the one working junkie that's in there that's going to do trade labor in and out. You find them. That's where the money is, and if they're dealing with a black man, that's because the shanty people aren't. The shanty
Do you
people aren't
think
necessarily
Michael's is doing?
Oh, it's
heroin?
not. It's not him that's doing anything. Well, we don't know per se, but meaning that like a junkie's gonna keep up with his source of money, so they're gonna know all types of dirt that like the average guy and the average gambler, the average doper, the average drunkard won't, because they're trying to keep up with their fix.
Okay.
So the pathology is that basically, because he's poor, he's black, he's reasonably streetwise at least enough to know that like a junkie is going to, they need that, if they're a heroin addict, they need that fix hot enough that they're going to always keep up with the money. And they're going to stick with who's ever going to employ them and not ask questions. And a white man is still liable to ask one or two more questions than his own people will. So this is a situation where we run there and it's like, look, so you're going to hang back. I'm going to go in and get Junkie X, and then we're going to bring them outside. And then, we're going to feed him a couple of dollars, and he's going to give us all the information, because he's, especially if he can skip work and get his fix now, he's all about it.
I will follow your lead then.
Yeah, so that's our next MO. And then after that, we'll take what we got and skedaddle to the diner and regroup.
So, Lorraine, you get the closer you get to the clap house, the sketchier it felt, and it's not terrible, but it's a little like you're starting to feel a little uncomfortable. This is the kind of places that your father and mother would never want you at. When you get closer to the trap house, you know that it's dangerous here. The idea that Lou is going to go in by himself, you're hoping he doesn't stay in very long, because if he does, like, it may be time to skedaddle without him.
Right, but I feel like with her background and like
Here
as investigative as she is, she would think that it's a little adventurous.
Why are you one of those white people that always in the horror films is like, bitch, you know better. You already know, but you gonna go in here and get to have, girl, why? And then be wondering why you did. Okay, it's fine. It's cool. No shade. Okay,
all I'm saying is,
I'm with you.
all I'm saying is that it is clearly a dangerous area for you, especially being white.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying.
Should I wait somewhere?
No, I don't know. Should she?
Lou.
Lou.
Should
sorry, my
should
dating life doesn't stop. I would take her to a trap house that, her being outside on the sidewalk, they would assume that she's one of the, even though she's dressed well, would still assume that she's one of the whites that are in the neighborhood.
Okay.
You got to think like Polish women still dress well. It's just it's a cultural thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're not going to go, oh, she's a rich white woman. They're just going to assume she's another white woman that just dresses better. That's
Okay.
it.
That's
So
fine.
she would be
You'll
okay
take her to
outside.
the least sketchy place.
Yeah,
you
like
can.
I'm gonna take her to the least sketchy one, because it's like it doesn't matter. They're all a dime a dozen. It's just it gets a little rougher for whatever reason.
So you go in, talk your way into one of the guys coming outside with you, which is really just waving money at him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he comes outside. He seems a little out of it, which is not unexpected.
Right.
But he seems mostly there.
Okay.
As far as that goes. And he comes outside with you, probably lights a smoke.
Yeah.
And then, so what do you want to ask about?
So I'm just asking point blank, like, have you ever worked for the Pied Piper? You ever worked for Michael?
Yeah, I worked for Michael's, yeah.
Okay. So where's his businesses at?
I mean, we did construction on a couple of buildings just south of Harlem.
Did you ever run into a man by the name of Fritz? What's his name?
Fritz. Al Fritz.
Al Fritz, yeah.
Al Fritz.
Yeah.
Alphonse.
Aldolphus.
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 Thank you. I was like, I know this.
Is it Aldolphus or Adolphus?
Aldolphus.
Yeah.
Aldolphus?
We'll take
Sure,
it.
why not?
Aldolphus.
Sure.
Fritz. Goes by the name of Al.
Yeah, maybe. I think I worked with Al. I don't know. Yeah, sure. I don't know if I worked with him for Michael's or for somebody else.
When's the last time you see him?
Ooh. He didn't come here to this particular.
I'm in on a work site.
Oh, been a week and a half ago.
Well, you started to say something else. You ever run through a trap house before?
No. He no. I've seen him at the clap house, but he throws some bones, but he doesn't do anything else. He seems to be holding back and not talking as openly as he would because there's a white lady right there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like he's holding anything back that's important. You can grab the concepts of what he's saying.
Right. Exactly. All right. Is there anything in particular that Lorraine would want to like tap me and whisper in my ear to ask him that I can like ask? Look at us really role playing this out. I love it. Yes.
So we want to get as much information on Fritz as possible. Like get some leads about where other people might have seen and or worked for Michaels.
Okay. So I would relay that basically.
I mean, Michael's. I haven't seen him this week. It's like Tuesday though, so. But the word is that there's a lot of work down at that new Manhattan bank building down on Wall Street. They need a lot of people, so they're trying to finish it up as quickly as possible. And the white folk in their stupid race for the heavens. So, yeah, I mean they've been pulling people, but it's so far south. Like, I don't even try. Like there's enough buildings up here typically that I can get by up this way.
So I would like
hold on. Are you like is that
that's on his shoulder? So
yeah,
I'd
she's
be
tapping me on
poking
my. I got it. We was here. We role play. We know
I thought
what
it was
doing.
Morse code. Like
No.
Yeah, because Johnny knows Morse code.
No,
Wait,
she-
do you know Morse code?
That I don't know Morse
Okay.
code, but
I'll be
hey,
like, what?
she's she's doing that white woman like peck on the shoulder, and I'm like, all right, what's
Ask
up?
him if anyone else has been in that generally just works in the area that has been acting strangely or fearful or just been acting strange or doesn't come in anymore.
Not that works in the area. We had a guy, Brian. He went down last week down to the Hooverville in Central Park and tried to get some work down that general area. He hasn't been back, but I don't know if he moved down there or what. Like, he didn't exactly have a house up here, so. But other than that,
Brian,
no.
who?
Yeah, this Brian got a last name. Invisible
Alexander.
scars. All right, Brian.
He gives you a general description.
Okay.
You might have seen him around. He
Right.
sounds like somebody you'd know. Like, yeah. So, yeah. Other than him, most everybody else stuck around here.
Right.
Everybody that was going to flee that way already did.
Yeah.
So.
God, doing investigative work in the 30s without the internet sucks.
Right.
But we're gonna do it. We're plucky. We're young. We're sprite. Except for old boy over here with his, injury.
Well, he's
Cool.
got an injury.
He tripped over a file cabinet one time to dodge a bullet
You don't know that.
or going for a donut.
You don't know that.
Okay, I'm just saying it was a donut injury. No shade.
I mean, I'm like down at the other end of Manhattan right now, but you don't know me like that. I'm just saying.
He is right. I don't know Tony like that. But Tony and I are gonna be good friends. We are.
So, you guys kind of wrap up there.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna head to the diner and try to
Yeah.
start to piecemeal this together, basically, like a more, because Lou feels, because I'm playing the role of Lou, so I know how
Right.
Lou feels. Lou just kind of feels that it's been hodgepodge. So now let's start to take a little bit and piecemeal
Sure.
together something more concrete. Because when he says, "Oh, like Brian Alexander went down."
Right.
This or that and the other, he's starting to kind of get the sense of like there's some sort of correlation, but he can't really figure out where the correlation's at.
You're missing some of the information.
Yeah.
Sure. So you guys meet at the diner. It's probably right at 1 when you both get there. I would say, Tony, actually, you're probably a couple minutes late. Just it took a little bit longer. So,
Sure.
But he's not too terribly late.
Trying to get a cab uptown at lunchtime. Yeah, I'm late.
Yeah. So you guys get kind of settled in. Order some food. Tony just tells him to bring stuff, so he takes care of it. Not Tony. Lou just tells him to bring stuff. Yeah, the white guy.
That would not go over well.
So they bring out some food, and you guys get to talking. So go ahead.
All right.
All right, so here's what I found at downtown. I got a contact who can take us to the Hooverville, maybe introduce us to some people tomorrow. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna meet up with him, and we can all go there and ask some questions tomorrow.
You want to talk about the
So what did you find?
buildings you found, or the ownerships you found, or
Well, Michaels owns 2 companies. We don't have any information about Fritz ever working for him. But one of those companies is a real estate company. It's got nothing to do with 40 Wall Street.
he does mention a couple of apartment buildings. You know them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the nicest, but they're definitely not like slums. They're
Right.
they're well taken care of,
Yeah.
properly maintained.
Yeah. Just
Kind
maybe
of
older buildings or
yeah,
something?
yeah.
Or
You're I got some money, but I ain't rich. People live there.
right.
That so they're nicer and they're well taken care of, and they're a little more pricey, but they're not like living closer to Midtown pricey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and they are in Harlem.
Right.
And another little interesting tidbit we got here is that our friend Al is not the only person to go missing from the Hooverville. They've filed missing person reports for about a dozen people in the last couple of weeks, and these aren't just people just up and disappearing or anything like that. I mean, folks
But it's from the
folks
from
from
Hooverville?
folks from the Hooverville are filing missing person reports on their friends.
I wonder if Brian Alexander got caught.
I was
in
just
That
thinking
is
that.
one of the names you saw.
That is one of the names I saw. Yeah.
He doesn't live there though, does he? Were the claims that he lived there?
It was reported by the people that lived in the Hooverville
Mm-hmm.
that someone was missing and hadn't been back.
Yeah.
What else did the reports include?
Just general like descriptions and information. Not much. Like
I mean,
it was-
yeah,
So
unfortunately,
they
there's
didn't
not. There's
see anything weird or
they
nefarious.
all they did was
or-
say,
no,
"Hey,
it-
this guy
no,
was
it-
here
it's
yesterday."
just a matter of this person was here. This person's not here anymore, and they aren't at any of their usual haunts, so they're
Yeah.
missing.
Okay.
And it's not uncommon for people to go missing, like our game master told me, but that we would get that many reports out
Yeah,
of a
that's-
Hooverville.
You said 12?
Yeah,
it
12.
was 12 over the last couple of weeks. So almost
a
one a
lot.
day from that one Hooverville, from the Central Park Hooverville.
Were there any reports of where they all may have worked? Was that similar, or
That didn't.
That didn't come up. I was only down there for a couple hours.
Well, and
Okay.
missing reports typically are like, here's the person, here's where they live, which Hooverville. Like you can't give a lot.
Yeah.
Here's where they're actually employed, which you can't give because there's no real information on that. So it's really like this person who looks like this and has this notable scar and this, these things is missing.
This person
That's
age
it.
such and such,
Yeah.
height such and such.
Estimated birth date, estimated, like
Yeah.
it's not a lot of information.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's appalling.
So it could be that that your buddy Al is wrapped up in something else that's affecting the Hooverville.
Now, we found some information. Miss Johnson has been seeing Mr. Michaels for quite some time,
Okay.
since her baby passed.
I was there for that.
I guess he was...
You didn't know you knew that she was seeing him, but you didn't know it had been for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like the baby died on Tuesday, and on the following Tuesday, she was hemmed up.
Was
Yeah.
she seeing him before that she lost the baby?
Not from any information you guys have been given.
No. That's unsure.
See, I couldn't ask that because I was downtown.
And then we also found out that that's about... And then Brian Alexander, which you just said his name as
Okay.
well.
But you know what? Lou's going to interject there
Okay.
at this point.
Sure.
Alice has brought us over coffee and apple pie
Yeah.
after the pot roast sandwiches that was real good
Ooh.
and collard greens.
Oh man, that sounds great.
Right.
Pot roast sandwich.
Right.
We-
That's everything.
Sidebar. We went to Cracker Barrel and had their campfire beef. Oh my God!
Was it? I might give Saltines Porch another chance because of lately they've been upsetting
What you call
me.
it? Saltines what?
Saltines Porch. Yep.
Wow, you're cut off. Damn.
Yeah, right. I know.
No, so like I was like, wow, this is like when my mom cooked pot roast, which is one of like 3 things she could actually cook.
Oh, that eye roll. Say no more. That's cool.
She
Yeah.
didn't listen to the podcast?
No.
Right. Shade.
No.
Real shade.
My mother supports something I do. Sorry.
Oh,
I ain't got no.
sound like another bitter gamer.
That
Huh?
was
Right.
off the mic.
So, yeah, no. So, yeah, no. It was hopping, right, Shirley?
It was. I don't like Cracker Barrel. Like it's
Now
just
I
not.
want to go
one of my
tomorrow.
fa-
Like, go get me some food. Just-
But
I love
that
me
was
some Cracker
really
Barrel,
good.
and I shouldn't because they're really a horrible company, and they have terrible record on LGBT relations. But damn, their food is good.
Right,
It's
listen.
so good.
Listen, if we boycotted everything, we would be dirty, hungry, funky people because like, somebody's supporting something that you don't like. You just got to pick and
Right.
choose.
Listen,
okay?
at the moment,
thirsty.
it's just Chick-fil-A and Cracker Barrel. But I won't eat Chick-fil-A very often. But
I'm
I
not gonna lie, I gotta
do
get my hate
do
chicken in.
gotta. You hate Chick-fil-A?
I gotta get my hate chicken in occasionally.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like I roll up
Listen,
in there with like a trench
homophobia
coat and
makes
big
some
glasses.
delicious
And I'm
power.
like, right, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
It-
can I
that's
get
the
that
secret
Can I get that
ingredient.
12 piece? And they're
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't be. And I'm like, oh no, I have a loving wife and 8 kids at home. Like, yes, I just.
Okay, I'm
go
not
with
even
God.
that straight.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, cool. Here's your hate chicken. And I'm like, thank you. And then I like go cry in a corner. Like, why am I eating this delicious hate chicken? You hate me. You hate me. You call my love a lifestyle. Why? And then and it's a vicious cycle.
So
But
my
those
point
nuggets,
was,
man.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, your point was.
Ignorance is one of the 7 herbs and spices.
so Alice,
Yeah, Alice brings over the pie, the coffee and the apple pie, and I kind of start to get on a little bit of a kick that that Mr. Johnson has been out of town a lot for work.
no, he in the last couple of weeks he left to
Left
go
town,
to
yeah.
go out of town for work.
Right.
Yeah. Now that he's aware of the
Yeah.
indiscretions.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're fine.
Oh yeah. And then
Wait,
I'm just kind of
he finds out his wife is playing around on him, so he decides to leave town. How is that working?
I mean,
out for
everyone
him?
deals
Anyway,
with it
go on.
differently, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Me,
I
on the
got-
other hand, I'd be like, oh,
I
like
got him.
teammate, hey, awesome. Can you do the dishes and take out the trash player? Like, listen,
Yeah.
let's timeshare.
Listen, man, just don't drink my last beer. It's all I
Right.
ask,
Like, you know,
Yeah.
teammates, teamwork. Teamwork
Makes
makes the dream work.
work.
Right. Just saying. Oh, no.
So
We're
you were
horrible
saying
people.
about Alice brings over the pie.
Yeah, so basically, like that, you know, good old Jeremiah Johnson has has been I'm just gonna name all your NPCs.
That's
by
fine.
the
You
way.
go right ahead. I'm terrible with
Just
names.
Write them down and keep it moving. Give them backstories and lives and everything. That basically, like, you know, like, kind of the insight that I would give as a black man and how black households and families of that era run. That basically, like, if there's an indiscretion, he may throw himself in work, but he would never just like up and leave to go to that work. There has to be some sort of mitigating factor, like the money is just too good and he can drown his sorrows at, you know, Culver City or like whatever,
Right.
or, you know, perhaps there might be something else mitigating that we're not aware of, because that's just something that black men of that era and that family structure just and dynamic don't, no matter how bad it don't do. They'll work a lot in the city and then they come home when she's in bed and they crawl into bed and then they get up before she gets up. And that's how they do the ship's passing night, but not I'm gonna actually leave and go.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll run to another woman's house across town and not see their wife and do the same thing, but they're ultimately not going outside of town for work. So what's the mitigating factor?
Well, and
So that is a little.
it is
strange.
possible that like he was, because no one's told you what he's doing out of town. It didn't sound like anybody knew.
yeah.
But it's also possible like he was offered a position on a ship. And
Yeah,
that
exactly,
meant
yeah.
that when he came home, he was going to have a boatload of money at once.
Yeah, like,
And he'll put up with being out of town for a little while to,
Yeah.
to you know, clear his head. Anyway,
yeah.
it's a possibility.
But that's the perspective that a black man of that era would come from.
Sure. Okay. So you guys talk that over?
Yeah, talk that over. And so it's like, now what we gonna do? Well, jinkies.
I think you had mentioned we should go to Hooverville.
Yeah.
And tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to Hooverville tomorrow. We're going to meet up
Yeah.
with. I wasn't clear on that. Was he my brother-in-law or was he a friend of my brother-in-law?
Your friend's brother-in-law.
My friend's brother-in-law is going to meet us there and walk us through.
Yeah.
Who is broke? as a
Mr.
joke.
White.
Oh, no, you did not.
Walter.
Jamie.
That.
Jamie White.
I feel like there's an inside joke.
What? What? I didn't have an inside joke.
I don't either. It's just the fact that
Mr.
he's like Walter, and you're like Jamie, and I'm like, really? Like,
Okay.
we couldn't?
No, that's fine. That's not the hill I want to die on this game. So that's fine. That's fine.
So yeah,
Okay.
you guys are headed to the Hooverville tomorrow.
All right.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good place to kind of take a break.
Yeah.
We're going to call that an episode. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out all of our other podcasts at nerdsdom.com, and we will talk to you guys real soon. And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter @nerdsdomain, or over at our site, nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Schott for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.